What's up guys, Jordan here, and today we're going to be going through 10 social media tips for small businesses. But before we get into the video, make sure you're subscribed with your notification bell turned on so you get notified every time we make a new video. Let's get started with it. Now, it goes without saying that in this day and age, if you're not on social media as a small or large business, then you are leaving thousands of pounds on the table and missing out on a huge number of your potential audience, just waiting for your competitors to go scoop them up and make sales to them. So today we're going to be going through the 10 top tips to run social media for small businesses. Straight into it. Number one, you need to know your goal. You need to know what it is that you want to achieve out of social media. Are you trying to make sales? Are you trying to build authority? Are you trying to build a larger audience and gain more power within your industry? You need to align yourself with what it is you're actually trying to achieve from your social media, whether that's Facebook or Instagram or YouTube, before you start doing it. Because you want to be making sure that you're putting relevant content out there, which is guiding your potential audience or your potential customers to do the thing that you want them to do the most. Number two, build authority through value. Now, this is incredibly important. This is the number one reason as to how I managed to build such a significant online following. So many businesses miss this out. They start posting content, they start posting things which their audience maybe aren't even interested in, and they're not providing enough value. So when I first started my social media channels, I made sure that I taught people things. I made sure that I built authority. I made sure that I gave value to people, the value that they were hungry for. And one of the best ways to actually know what kind of value to be putting out there, this is relevant by the way, if you're a restaurant or a tech startup, it doesn't matter what kind of business you're running, there are ways for you to provide value. I would recommend you looking at your competitors, looking at what kind of content they're putting out there. What is the message that they're putting across to their audience? And start doing the things that they're not. Start teaching people the things that your competitors aren't. Now, you may be thinking, okay, Jordan, look, I'm a new restaurant startup. I'm a fast food restaurant, whatever you may be. There are ways that you can do this. You could start teaching people certain recipes. You could start giving people hints and tips about certain dishes, about certain cultures and countries that you've traveled to and things that you learned about cooking. If you're a tech startup, you can teach them about the technology behind your product. These are all ways that you can provide value to your audience. Number three, engage in conversation. This is absolutely essential. To make your audience come back again and again, they need to feel like they are part of your community, like they are growing alongside your business. And so one of the most important things you need to do is actually engage with them. Start conversation, say something provocative, whatever you need to do to get people talking, and not just Facebook statuses and actually asking people questions, but just even little posts on Instagram and comments. Respond to people, like their comments, give them a little heart on Instagram, reply, even if you're replying with an emoji. It's going to give somebody that impression that they are welcomed in your community and they are appreciated, which is going to make them want to come back again and again. And this is also going to help you build authority because you can actually have constructive conversations with your audience and find out what they know, find out what they love, and find out what they want from you as a brand. Number four, be unique. Now, as a business owner in this day and age, there's a high chance that your business model has already been done before you, unless you're some kind of startup which has invented a new product, and 9 times out of 10, you're not going to be that. So you know that there are already competitors out there. You know that there are people who are competing over the same audience as you, but you've also started a business because you've found your niche. You've found something that sets you apart from your competitors in your mind. But you need to make sure that that unique selling point is in the mind of your customers as well, and is in the mind of your social media following. So you need to carry that across in your posts, in the way you speak online, in your statuses, whatever you're putting out to the online space. You need it to be unique, because there is nothing worse in business than bringing something out there, taking a brand out to the open, which is the same as 10 other brands. You're never going to be able to set yourself apart. You're never going to be able to get yourself onto that next level of success, which I'm sure you want to achieve, which is why you're watching this video on how to actually expand your business on social media. So I need you to think about, what are my unique selling points? What are the opinions that we have as a business which set us apart from our competitors? And how can we carry them across in everything that we do on social media? Number 5, consider starting a personal brand. Now, this is a huge one. If you're watching this, you've probably heard this phrase being thrown around, personal brand. And if you don't know what one is, the best way to explain it is me. It's a brand around an individual. And going back to the point we just made in tip number 4, the world's very saturated now. Everybody wants to be a business owner. There's so many young, hungry entrepreneurs, people who want to start businesses, and that means that we've got a lot more people that we need to compete with in order to get our slice of bread. Now, what's setting apart so many different businesses out there now is their want to start a personal brand alongside the brand of their business itself. So they are building authority and doing everything they're doing for their normal business, okay? Let's say that you own a dentistry. You own a dentistry and you've got a really great Facebook page, you've got good engagement on Instagram, you're putting out good content, okay? But imagine if you as a surgeon started talking about your methodology as well, about your techniques, about your passions, about your views on the market, and you start building yourself as an individual, as an authority within your industry. It's going to push your company forward. You suddenly become a major asset to your company, and it's going to aid you in so many different ways. You might get speaking opportunities. You might be able to influence a larger audience that your business brand couldn't actually reach out to itself, and that just needed that extra personal touch. So personal branding is incredibly important, and my best advice for anybody who's looking to start one is just be yourself. Don't be anyone else that you think you need to be. Don't pretend to be somebody else online. Raise your opinions, post your content, and just be authentic. And the number one reason why people don't start personal brands, a lot of you guys watching this will not want to start a personal brand. It's because you're worried about what people will think of you when you do so. And I always say to people, if you watch my content, you've heard me say this before, I always say to people, look, there are 3 things that people do when you start a personal brand online, when you start actively putting yourself out there. Number 1, they're going to mock you. They're going to talk about you. They're going to slander you, okay? Number 2, though, they'll start asking questions. After they've finished doing that and they see you being consistent and persistent with your personal brand, they're going to want to know what you're actually doing and why you're doing this. And number 3, you bet that they're going to copy you. And this happens every single time. There've been so many times throughout my life and I've been like, I've seen you go through them 3 cycles. You mocked me, you asked me questions, and now you want a slice of this cake, and I'm not going to give you any, because I'm eating the whole thing to myself. So honestly, guys, it happens like that every single time. I really recommend, if you're a small business owner watching this right now, I would really recommend considering to start a personal brand and getting past that. It'll help you in so many different ways throughout the life of your business. Number 6. Don't spread yourself too thin. I see so many small business owners making this mistake. They're like, right, okay, we need to start social media. Everybody else is doing this. I'm going to start a YouTube channel. I'm going to start Instagram. I'm going to start Facebook. I'm going to get on Twitter. I'm going to get on LinkedIn. They get on all these different platforms and they just suddenly get overwhelmed. For like 1 or 2 weeks, they're posting every single day. It's really great content. And then all of a sudden they realize, shit, I've got a business to run here, I've got employees, I've got so much more to do than social media. So once that initial excitement of joining social media dies, you realize you've actually got yourself into way too much work that you can actually handle. And this is a big problem. And the only way to prevent this is by not getting onto so many platforms in the first place. Pick the platforms where you think your audience are going to be hanging out the most. If you're a fashion brand, it's going to be Instagram. Might even be YouTube. If you're an e-commerce brand, depending on what you're selling, you probably want to be on Facebook and Instagram as well. If it's a revolutionary new product, you might want to put demos out there on YouTube. Generally speaking, all business owners want to be on LinkedIn, but it's not so important that you're posting business brand related content on LinkedIn. It's better just for personal branding and kind of building yourself as an authority to other business owners. So you need to be mindful of where your audience are hanging out. A quick Google search of your audience, of your demographic, will give you a good idea of what platforms are best for what kind of products and services. And my best advice would be to actually start off on 2 platforms. Generally speaking, for 90% of businesses out there, Facebook and Instagram are the best places to start. The reason being is when you post on Instagram, there's just a little tick box which says share to Facebook, which means that you can regurgitate every piece of content you put out on Instagram on Facebook with the click of a button. So you actually get 2 for 1 and it's much easier to manage. Number 7, post high quality content. It is painful to see so many businesses out there posting pixelated images, posting half-assed content. It does not paint a good image of their brand. And what you need to remember is everything that you put out online, you will be judged for as a company. So do you want your company to be looked at as high quality, as high end, as somewhere that people need to buy from, as an authority, as somewhere of value? then you need to be putting high quality images, high quality videos, and high quality posts out there. There is no excuse in this day and age to be putting out poor quality images. With mobile phones, which all have great cameras, unless you've got some kind of Motorola brick razor from back in 2002, you have no excuse. And even if you do, you can hire a photographer for an hour for £50 these days. You can hire a student who will work for you for free to come in and take loads of content for you. There is no excuse for putting poor quality content. And in fact, posting low quality content is more damaging for your brand than not posting at all. And if you're thinking, okay, Jordan, that's all well and good, but what is high quality content? Go over to the pages of your biggest competitors, as painful as that might be for your ego, and have a look at what kind of content they're putting out there, because they're clearly doing something right. Number 8, don't buy followers. For God's sake, do not buy followers. So many businesses out there do this. I get so many clients approach me on a daily basis and I'm like, wow, they've got a lot of following. This is a big company. I go on their engagement and it's like shocking. It's like a 1% engagement rate and I'm like, oh, another business who's bought followers. Now, so many business owners think that if you buy followers, if you get more followers, you've got a large number on your social media page, then it's amazing. Everybody looks at it and like, wow, I need to buy this person's product. And that's just not true, because any savvy person will be able to look at the engagement you're getting on your page and realize that you have actually bought that. That creates a lot of distrust in your potential audience and shows that you're not legit. And maybe you're even desperate for growth. And it's just all the kind of wrong images that you want to paint of your business. So never ever consider buying followers. My best advice, if you want to gain a following as quickly as possible, is run paid advertisement. On Facebook, you can run a page likes campaign and you can get super cheap likes and they're authentic and it's people who actually want to follow your page. On Instagram, you could run Instagram story adverts, prompting people to come over to your page and follow you. Make sure you use hashtags. These are other ways to get people to actually engage and follow your content. Also, on Facebook, a really easy way to kickstart your page likes is actually go through everybody who's engaged with your posts in the past, click on the likes, and you can actually invite them individually to like your page. You can also invite your whole friends list to like the page as well. And if you've got good friends, they're going to want to support you and you'll be able to build a really great base just by doing that. So as tempting as it may be, please do not buy followers for your social media pages. Number 9, stay consistent. Now, this ties in many of the other points that we've already raised, and it helps you build authority and it helps you build trust within your audience. It shows that you are who you're saying you are and you are out there on a mission to serve your potential customers, not just in one freak post, in one viral piece of content, but on a daily basis. And I would recommend you trying to post on social media once per day. Now, this really isn't hard because you can schedule all of your posts in advance. You can use a tool like Buffer, which costs about $70 a month, or you can even use Facebook's in-house scheduling software. So you go on Facebook, and when you go to put a post on your Facebook page, you can schedule it for days in advance. You can even schedule a whole month's worth of content on one day, which is what we do for our clients on a monthly basis, all the clients that we have management for. So there's no excuse not to be posting daily. All businesses have content that they can be putting out there. It doesn't need to be repetitive. It can be value-based content. It can be conversational-based content. It can be image-based content. It can be videos. But my best advice is to mix things up so your audience don't get bored and to just make sure that you're putting loads out there. And one thing you need to accept is when you start up a social media channel for the first time, not a lot of people are going to look at your content, and that can be really disheartening when you're first starting. I remember when I first started my YouTube channel, my first 20 videos had like under 10 views on them. And all of a sudden now if you go back on them, they have thousands of views because people have gone back and looked at that content because they're generally interested in my journey, as are your customers going to be. So don't get disheartened if you're not getting a lot of engagement. Just make sure you are consistent, and I promise you that over time it's impossible not to grow. And finally, number 10, outsource this if you either don't have the time or don't know how to do this yourself. In this day and age, you need to be on social media. If you're not, you're just leaving money on the table for your competitors to pick up. So you need to be doing this in some way. You can outsource this very reasonably online. There are tons of people who would manage your social media for you. There are tons of people, just like all of the thousands of students that I have, which are building social media agencies because it's such a lucrative industry, and they can create you some incredible content, some incredible posts, and build build your brand online like you need to be doing. So if you don't have the time to be doing it, don't just say, it doesn't matter, I won't worry about social media. No, because during that time, one of your competitors who you think is like down here could come and overtake you just by using social media. That is how powerful it is. We're in an age where everybody has smartphones. Everybody walks around on their mobile phones. You only have to walk down the street to see that. And if you're not getting yourself in front of those millions and millions of people, it goes against everything that we learn as business owners when we start our brands. So guys, that is the end of this video. I hope you got a ton of value from this. Please do let me know in the comments if there's anything else you think that should have been added in this video. It's always great to start that conversation. And again, if you're not subscribed, make sure you are with your notification bell turned on, because I'm going to be releasing a lot more content from now on. Hopefully we're going to be doing 2 videos a week and maybe even increasing that over the next couple of months, but we'll see. For now, it'll be 2 videos a week. I'm really looking forward to it. If you've got any content ideas, just reach out to me on Instagram and I'll be back again really soon. Cheers, guys.